I want to make this message for young men who feel like they have no clue what's going to happen next. We live in such uncertain times where it seems like just about anything that you pursue can change in a split second. Right? These past 2 decades, 3 decades, we've seen the most amount of change probably in human history ever, in terms of society, culture, technology, politics, economies, everything. And I think most young men nowadays feel lost. They don't know what to pursue. They don't know what to put their energy and effort and ambition into. They don't know if it should be towards a girl that they love. They don't know if it should be towards their body and themselves and the gym. They don't know if it should be towards their studies and school and going to college or a career and getting the best at that. They just don't know what to pursue no matter what. And I think the one thing I want, one seed I want to plant for sure is number one. I'm gonna get to this. There's one thing I want you to know no matter what, but I kind of wanted to touch on this, and the reason why I think so many men are kind of feeling so hopeless, especially young men, and I also want to talk about how I deal with this and what I believe in and why I don't think that really we do live in at the end times. I don't think everything will turn out awful, but I do think you need to be cautious and you do need to think about it a lot. I think right now the problem is, as awesome as it is that you're watching this video and you're actually trying to learn it and you want to go ahead and um, you know kind of take brutal truths because you're someone who's probably pursuing the truth, as opposed to things that are called the blue pill, something that makes you feel good, but it's in the midst of you know false hopes. It's in the midst of ignoring of the harsh, bitter, true reality. You're looking for truth, and I want to give you the truth. We've got more eyes on the world and society and culture than we've ever had before. And I don't want to say that it's not changing, because it is. It's changing very fast. But what you need to realize is, the reason that you're seeing this is because of social media, because of YouTube, because of the internet. And nowadays we can see the changes in the world so easily, so quickly, so instantaneously that when things change, there's no way to miss it. 30, 40 years ago, something was to happen across the entire world. You wouldn't really know about it for a very long time, until maybe it was in your newspaper. But today, you open up Snapchat or Instagram or TikTok and you'll find out about it right away. And I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, but what I think this does do is cause a lot of panic and cause a lot of chaos. Because it seems like no matter what you put your energy and focus into, right, it's all worthless because things change so quickly, and there's always this kind of underlying insecurity and fear that what you put all your eggs into that one basket, it's not going to work out for you. And I think the main thing I want you guys to understand, or the one thing that I need to practice and I am practicing, is exactly what I just said. Putting all of your eggs into one singular basket is important, and that's why I always talk about developing a skill. For me, it was sales, and something I'm still pursuing and learning to this day. I believe you need to focus on one thing and get as good as you humanly can at it. But to go ahead and to think that for some reason you know better than everybody else that one thing will last and the rest won't, well, you're kind of begging to be fooled, and you're begging to be told that that's not true in 10 or 20 years when you realize that you're not useful anymore. I think actually putting your eggs into several different baskets and to make sure that you're not one dimensional, right? But you're multidimensional and you're good at multiple things and you're adaptable and you're dynamic is what's most important in today's age. I think what this really means is, for all of you, one of the biggest things and most important things I think all of you can learn and I can practice, in fact, so can you, is learning to learn. Getting so good at being able to pick anything and really dedicating yourself to it and becoming the best at it is probably the most important thing in today's age. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, learning how to code and program was probably one of the best things you could do. You'd get a comfortable job, you'd be a programmer, you'd maybe end up in Silicon Valley, you'd be earning six figures, and it's far better than what a lot of other people are doing, working on site, doing some dead-end white-collar or even blue-collar job. As a programmer, you're kind of living easy, maybe remotely or traveling, or this, even if you're in an office, it was all cushy and comfortable. Where nowadays, recent graduates are not getting jobs whatsoever. I think the rate is 26% of them are unemployed within the first 6 months of graduating, which is brutal for people, exiting their studies, trying to get a tech job. It seems like a great degree and a career. It's just not the case anymore. It's 2025. Nowadays, it seems better than ever to go ahead and pursue a trade or to do something with your hands because it seems like AI or technology will replace that last. But one thing you need to remember no matter what is that whatever it is that you pursue, you need to have passion in it. You need to have your heart in it. Maybe not 100%, right? 100% is probably the thing that you love doing more than anything, which is playing soccer or I don't know. But it's got to have an element of that. It's got to have an element of you truly being passionate and curious and interested in it. Because if you don't, then no matter how practical your job is, you're not going to last. Kind of like me with trades. I got into the electrical union pretty much 1 year after graduating high school. And I could have stayed there, and I know I would have been guaranteed a career that's in need, that pays my bills, and that would last a long time. But the truth is, my heart wasn't there. And the biggest, betrayal I could kind of make or do is betray my heart and betray what I truly want. And it's part of the reason I got into sales. I think you need to find a balance where you truly need to find something that not only are you passionate about, but something that is practical, that is in need. And this comes from learning how to learn and being dynamic. You can always figure out what is the next thing, what is the thing that you love as well, and you learn how to master and become the best. I think the other important part is really knowing thyself. Nowadays, when you're watching this video and you're learning about me and who I am as a person, you're kind of taking attention away from yourself. And at moments, this is important and okay. And I think knowing history and learning from people who are better than you is so important. Having mentors, having guides, having coaches, consultants, it's mandatory if you want to really become the best self. The people who've paved the way before you really have discovered the most efficient paths oftentimes. But one of the biggest things that you can do to harm yourself is to go ahead and pursue somebody else's dreams. Knowing thyself has always been a idea that's existed, for 2,000 plus years, from Seneca or Epictetus or all these philosophers. They always talked about knowing thyself, and I think in today's day and age, it's become one of the most rare things ever. But it's become, for that reason, become more valuable than ever. You truly, you watching this video, you really do have to understand who you are inside your head, inside your heart, right? If you truly know your weaknesses, your strengths, your desires, your passions, your fears, and you get crystal clear on it, and you understand it, and you don't judge it, but you accept it, you either work to change it if you must, or you accept it if you must and you want to, and you start to work with what you've got. Because no matter what, who you are and how you grew up is something you'll always have and who you'll always be. So working to completely change that and pursue something that just isn't you is probably the biggest betrayal you can make of yourself. Whether it's practical, whether it's fun, doesn't matter. Work on understanding who you are, and this comes from meditation, from journaling, from awareness, and from really being with yourself at times. And once you can really analyze, understand who you are in the shell, in this exoskeleton that we've got called our body, you can then go ahead and really direct your energy and passion and ambition towards something that aligns with who you are. I remember one thing, and my dad's probably watching this, but one thing I remember him talking to me about, I remember I walked up to him one day, and I just really wanted some wisdom. And I really, my dad's been on this planet for 40, 50 plus years at this point. Yeah, 50 plus years, and he's seen a lot of things, he's experienced a lot of things, and I wanted to pretty much shortcut it and ask him what's one piece of advice he could give me. And I still remember I was 17, I believe, in the kitchen. My dad thought about it for a while. I'm like, Dad, I asked him, what's one thing you could tell me? What's the best piece of advice you could give me? Something along those lines. I still remember the one thing my dad told me after a long time, and I was kind of disappointed by it, but I'll tell you why, was that he said, do what you love. Pursue what you love. Do something that you want to do. I think in the moment, I wanted some real, super practical tip. I wanted some step-by-step guide as to what I should do next to be the most successful and best version of myself. In reality, 3 years later, when I was talking with Francesco on a bench after we were about to quit our sales job, we were talking about, the dreams and goals that we have in pursuing our own business, our own company, where we help people discover their passion and their true meaning. I realized that that's something that really is my calling, and being able to communicate with people and share ideas and influence them and persuade them in a positive way. That's something that for me is one of the most inspiring and one of my favorite things to do on this planet. I think in that moment, a month ago, I thought back to what my dad said, and it all made sense. 3 years later, after being kind of, almost, I'd say, disappointed with what he said. There we go. Almost being disappointed with what my dad told me. I really started to appreciate it. I really understood it in that moment that there's nothing on this planet that's better than doing what you love. Because truly, as much as we want to pursue the material, the tangible, the hedonistic, material stuff, the house, the car, the money, the girls, the vacations, the jewelry, the everything, the status. End of the day, what you spend most of your time doing, which is the only thing that we can never really tangibly hold, it's time. Passes every day, no matter who you are, you've got 24 hours, and the one decision you have to make is what you do with it. So, choosing to do what really fulfills you and makes you feel the greatest, the best, is probably the best use of your time over driving a Lamborghini because you worked for 20 years at a job that you hated that made you money to get a girl who's only there for your money, and you live in a house that's unpractical and massive, but it boosts your status, around people who you don't actually love. It's not a life that I want to live, right? And I know it's an extreme example. I know there's a lot of people who are wealthy, who are happy, and trust me, making very good money is a big goal of mine, something I'm pursuing right this second. But I think the biggest takeaway is that, time will pass, and the way you spend that time is far more important than I think a lot of people realize. So, to summarize what I told you, I think in these times of uncertainty where it's scary, you don't really know what to do, you don't know what to pursue, you don't know what basket to put your eggs into, I think being able to dynamic and to learn things very quickly and very well is so important. I think you'll be able to make the best decision as to what to learn and what to master when you truly understand yourself. And I think at the very end of the day, what's most important is truly spending your time doing what you love most, because there will never be a wasted moment if that's truly what you do and you know it. I hope you took something away from this video. As of right now, if there's a skill that you want to learn, and if you like how I talk, or there's something about what I do and what I say that resonates with you, just know that one of the biggest reasons why I was able to develop my articulation or communication skills was because I put my head down and I really pursued and studied and learned sales. And I spent a lot of time doing it. If sales is something that you want to learn, right, end of the day, beyond just being able to have a product or a service that you sell to somebody for some money on a call, you're really learning communication. You're learning a skill that will be able, which is applicable to every aspect of your life, whether it's the relationship with your girl or your parents, or getting that promotion, or whatever it is that you need in your life. Being able to speak and being able to be clear and persuade is so important. If that's truly something that you want to learn, there's a new Discord that I opened up with two of my other closer friends, and they're really solid guys. You can join for free. I'll put a link below. And in there, right, if you want to go ahead and learn more, we're doing a subscription of $20 a month. You don't have to do it, but if you feel that learning communication and learning sales and being able to at least dip your toes into it, if that's worth $20, and figuring out whether or not it is or it's not for you, then feel free to go for it. You definitely don't have to. But it's also a great place to be able to reach me and be able to talk to me. I'll be very active in there, and for anybody who wants to work one-on-one with me, I have a little type form below. If you want to learn sales from me personally, have sessions and that kind of stuff, it's something that I'm also offering. I have two guys I'm working with currently who are pursuing that and getting better every single day. So, guys, I appreciate you watching so much. Definitely subscribe if you like this stuff and you want to watch more of it. Like if the video resonated with you, if you took anything, even 1% away from it. And comment if you have any questions as well. I read all my comments. I try and reply to them the second I watch them and see them. Otherwise, you know what to do. Join the Discord. Fill out the type form if you want to work with me one-on-one. And guys, thanks so much. Keep your head up. Pursue what you love, because there's nothing better than that. That's it.